Thank you, Dr. Narayan Bordale, for giving me this platform and allowing me to share my ideas. Whatever we do, we believe it is the best. Whatever we believe best, that we do. That is the normal conception. To come a new idea, it takes a long time. When the couching was there, it was the best practice at that time, and it took long time to come into existence the intracapsular surgery. So after doing thousands and thousands of capsulorhexis and observing the case for pretty long period of time, I have developed some confusion in the mind, so I have documented all the things. And many of you may not be agree with me, but whatever the findings I have seen, I will showcase all the findings. Continuous curvilinear capsulorhexis is significantly contributory to safety and effectiveness of cataract surgery. Postoperatively, capsular bag collapse over the intraocular lens within it like a cocoon. This is the main obstacle for future development of the intraocular lens technically and maintenance of long-term visual function at physiological level. Capsular bag configuration after CCC allows a uniform contact between the AC-IOL and PC, which results to development of subsequent pathological environment inside the bag. The aim of my study, it is also continuing to study the pathological changes in the lens capsular bag following CCC, cataract extraction, intraocular lens implantation in the bag in senile cataract in otherwise healthy eyes. Our methods: slit lamp by microscopy, ultrasound by microscopy, Simplak photography, light and electron microscopy of the implanted IOL capsular bag complex. These are the inclusion criteria, and these are some of the explanted lens. Here I like to request you to note that you see in here the capsule change occurs at the site of IOL contact with the anterior capsule everywhere, and here I show that the CTR cannot prevent the regenerative change in the capsule. Now, what is the resultant observation? Preliminary, the capsule collapse of the intraocular lens and induce fibrosis and regenerative activity of the lens epithelial cell. As a sample for description, I have identified these two samples. Now here you can see in all the samples we have seen there is reduction of the size of the capsular bag. There is compression of the IOL haptics. If you just compare with a fresh IOL, you will see it is having a different configuration. And there is compressive fold in microscopy, diffraction microscopy. You can see the compression folds in the IOL haptics. There is fibrosis. You can see the strong fibrous bands, much magnified. So fibrous bands are there. So it is having a compressive effect, and that is in situ one case where you can see how much compression is there. Now this compression is due to a relative pressure between the capsule and the intraocular lens, and it may be due to compromised biomechanical property of the intraocular lens or failure of the memory of the intraocular lens, which the lens get lost during the time of injection. Here you can see the zonular fibers also get torn in some places due to the fibrotic activity in the lens capsule. The second specimen what I am going to show you that here you can see the cell proliferation, again the compression of the haptics. There is posterior capsule is separated from the anterior capsule. The cell accumulation and the cell migration over the cell, and there is reduction of the size of the capsulorhexis. Each may be an artifact, but in situ you can see this is a subluxated or dislocated lens in the vitreous cavity. Here you can see the anterior and the posterior capsule are separated. So the belief that anterior and the posterior capsule collapse, that may not be true in long-term observation. So the AC and PC adhesion, how much it is truth for the long term, it is not known. In pseudophakia, AC, PC, AC, IOL and PC adhesion is weak and can be easily dissected. While we dissect the specimen, it can be easily dissected, and there is ample space. This is the electron microscopic evidence. This is the IOL and this is the capsule. This is potential space. This potential space is sufficient for generating or the proliferation of the lens epithelial cell. Now, surprisingly, if only ECC is done with a circular capsular axis, then the fibrosis is limited only at the ACPC adhesion site. The other area there is no fibrosis and the posterior capsule remain persistently clear. Now, this specimen nowadays is very rarely to get. The patient was operated about 23 years back, the pediatric cataract. Now is a young, and thereafter the specimen we have collected, and this is a cadaveric specimen. The histology is that now when the lens is inside, the regenerative PCO is much more, probably in a given amount of time. So the lens is a stimulus for the lens epithelial E cell. The anterior capsular opacity, it is a extra tissue. It is sandwiched between the anterior capsule and the lens. It can be easily removed 360 degree. This is a histopathological examination of hematoxin eosin with the electron microscopy, and most of the time it is a fibrostic tissue, but sometimes in some specimen we have seen the giant cell, fibrocytic cell and the melanocytic cell. Now, this indicates that during the time of surgery, when the capsule bag is opened, some of the cellular component enters inside the bag, they harbor over there, they cannot come out and migrate over there, undergo metaplastic change and take part in the fibrotic activity. Now, this when we examine under electron microscopy, we see this is a fibroblast, myofibroblast, and there is expression of the smooth muscle actin and the collagen 4. Exactly, this is the sheet of the E cell proliferation. From the capsular cortex, it migrates toward the center, and these are the abortive E cell. And this is another sample. This is Elsnick's pulse, and the cells are looking like this. But these are not exactly the same E cell of the healthy eye. Of the healthy lens is not like this. Now, the dialing hole may harbor the melanin pigment, and that will proliferate inside. So, IOL with the dialing hole may not be good. Now, the anterior capsular response may be of different size. It may entirely cover the anterior capsule, and as the first, as Dr. Bordoloi was discussing the myopic eye, it is common, capsular axis is common. So, other things that we have observed, the IOL buckling, IOL decentration, dislocation of the anterior and the anteriorly and posteriorly, the intraocular lens, retinal detachment and the restrictive visual field. Now, this sort of regeneration we can see. Here you can see surrounding the posterior capsulotomy, the proliferation of the cell is occurring more, probably because of excess of the growth factor from the vitreous or insulin-like factors. Now, if the axis is bigger than the IOL optics, the long-term clarity of the visual axis is maintained in 3-piece IOL, but in single-piece IOL, this is the place where the regeneration fast starts. This case we are following up. Like this, many cases are following up, and we'll see how much time it takes to cover into the visual axis. Then other cells can also take part. Now, one interesting thing is that if the ring of Sommering displays anteriorly, it gives rise to pearl formation. It prolapses into the anterior chamber like this, and it is rarely found. And various types of pearl formation we have localized during the time of our investigation. The late change of ring of Sommering, the Sommering ring descends between the IOL and the posterior capsule in the form of crystal, and this subsequently liquefies, you can see, and give rise to the liquid after cataract. This is the simpler photography. Now, asymmetrical capsular fibrosis and intraocular lens rotation is universal following CCC. All toric IOL rotates, so the efficacy of the toric IOL for correcting corneal astigmatism as long-term basis is doubtful. This is one of our specimen. You can see the regeneration is already started, and we are documenting the degree of IOL rotation along with the time. So CCC against development of a true accommodative IOL. ACO and capsular fibrosis are against development of true accommodative IOL, which requires a normal capsular bag configuration and a freely mobile intraocular lens within it, like normal lens, which changes its curvature during accommodation. ACO pushes the IOL back, shrink wrap effect and sandwich effect in the capsule makes the IOL immovable, decentered with axis rotation. So above findings suggest shrink wrap effect in the capsule and abnormal microenvironment within it. IOL and some other factors are responsible for the subsequent pathological state of the lens and the capsular bag. Thank you for the patient sharing.